bring them your way. There's no point in just trying to imitate the Democrats. That results in total socialism sooner rather than later.
Pretty much.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back, and I promise we will let Josh talk more.
On healthcare, Jean Shaheen didn't tell the truth.
You can keep your insurance if you like it. It will increase choices for families. It will promote competition.
The facts. More than 20,000 New Hampshire patients have had their coverage canceled. And Obamacare offers only one insurer on New Hampshire's individual market. So next November, if you like your senator, you can keep her. If you don't, you know what to do. Ending Spending, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Senator Jean Shaheen said, if you like your current health plan, you can keep it. That's not true, Senator. 22,000 New Hampshire citizens have been kicked off their insurance plans. Hospitals in Rochester, Concord, and Portsmouth, they aren't allowed to provide care under the exchange. Senator, you were wrong in your comments. You should apologize for your misleading remarks. I'm calling Senator Shaheen at 750-3004 and telling her I want my doctor back. You should too.
Paid for by saberpac.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
All right, we are back. This is GrokTALK. I am Steve McDonald with Mike Rogers. Josh Moore's joined us to talk about running for the New Hampshire House and what we need to do in the state. Skip Murphy is available by phone. If you'd like to talk to him, he's monitoring us from a great distance on the side of his mountain in Belknap Mountain, I believe.
Excuse me, from the secret bunker somewhere in Guilford.
Yes,
that's correct.
The Liberty Studios bunker.
The Granite Grok Control Center.
Yes, he's
heavily armed and fortified, protected by dogs, ex-military sons, and a
cache of weapons.
No doubt.
So, awesome. Yes, we have guns. I am carrying right now. Thank you very much.
Me too.
Good for you. I have a Ruger SR40.
Nice. I have a Taurus 357.
Excellent. It's always good to be armed. Armed and fabulous. Susan's not with us today. She was here today. So anyway, what else? Let's say you get elected, and you're in Merrimack, so your odds are pretty good.
Right.
Let's see. Committees you might be interested in, or...
Yeah, I've thought about that. I've had a lot of insight from a number of representatives, current representatives and past representatives, former. I'm looking at education, or what was the other one? Judiciary. I'm looking at one of those two. Mm-hmm. Anything that I can make a big difference. And I like education because that's one of my big things is getting involved in education. Mm-hmm. And but judiciary I think would be another phone that involves a lot of studying and reading, which I like to do anyway. I read a lot of Founding Fathers stuff. So
well, it also gives you a good insight into how government really works.
Right, exactly.
It's there are certain committees, any committee, you're going to learn some things. I mean, if you're on labor, you're going to learn stuff. You're going to be like, oh my God, it's so much worse than I thought. Or if you're, wherever you end up, obviously it expands your resume as far as what you know about how state government works. And you discover that the bureaucracy sucks. But those are good choices. What other focuses have you, since we've covered quite a few already?
Yeah. Well, like I said, the last 6 months to a year, and it's very political also, I have my own TV show in Merrimack, and one of the things I've been driving on that show is getting young people involved to stand up for what they believe in.
What's the name of your show?
The name of my show is called Walking Tall.
Okay. And this is Merrimack Cable Access.
Merrimack Cable Access,
which is
exactly.
Channel
22.
22 in Merrimack, and that is Comcast.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So and is that picked up anywhere else yet, or it's just in Merrimack?
Unfortunately, it's just in Merrimack, which is fine. I do post videos on YouTube. Mm-hmm. I only have one right now on YouTube. I'm not very tech savvy.
You've been busy running for public office too. So
maybe you want to just get your feed out to Ustream, then it can be live streamed at the same time as it's on TV cable.
Oh yeah,
that's what we're doing right here, right now. Your picture is on the internet, literally, as we speak.
Good.
On GraniteGrok.com. So we do everything we can. But anyway, I'm sorry, I interrupted your phrase. So you've got your show.
Yep, I got my show. I explain to people what I do, and it's kind of controversial to some people. But being a Christian, admitting that, I've already admitted that on my show and all, which is it's not supposed to be a bad thing. I love everybody, it's like whatever. But I explain God and government, and I explain how those two connect, what our founding fathers believed, and then I go into how that affects everyone else's life, whatever you believe. how does politics affect your life? Because the one thing I've been told for all my life, or like maybe the last 10 years since I've really gotten into this stuff, is politics doesn't affect me from the young people. I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah? How about Michelle Obama's school lunch program? Ha!
Yeah. You may not be interested in politics, but rest assured,
Politics is interested in you. That's exactly right. Oh, boy, is it.
Wait, where's the... Here it is.
So let me...
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
Wonderful. Which Democrat was that cackling?
That was our laughing woman voice. That sounds a lot like Jane Cormier, I swear. Jane... That sounds like Jane to me. I'm sorry.
It does. That's not a cackling Democrat. That's a good laugh.
It is a good laugh. So anyway,
So I got to ask, how did you escape from the school system relatively unscathed and with a set of viewpoints which basically honor the founders?
He went to church, silly.
And honor our history, which the schools definitely go out of their way not to teach.
Well, I attribute it mainly to my belief system and who I trusted above the Almighty, but I also attribute it to my parents too. My parents have been my dad's a scientist. He's huge against global warming. I'll just throw that out there. That's his life mission.
What's his area of expertise?
Meteorology. We actually chased tornadoes as a family for the last 15 years. So it's a vacation. So
we got to get him
cool.
on the show.
Yeah, we should. I'll let him know. He's probably watching right now.
You should. We talked to. We've had Joe DeLeo on the show a couple times, co-founder of the Weather Channel. He's real big.
Oh, okay.
In fact, it'd be kind of cool to have Josh's dad in here and Joe DeLeo on the phone. That'd make a real live.
Oh yeah, founder of not AccuWeather. Weather Bell.
He's Weather Bell guy.
He's Weather Channel. Yes, that would be awesome.
And Joe Bastardi.
He was involved at the founding of the Weather Channel.
Yes,
but now he's part of weatherbell.org.
I've actually been trying to get a hold of him.
I can get a hold of Joe. That's not a problem. But
yeah, that's how I got involved. I mean, I want to make a big difference. I want to make a big change because there's the tide is changing, despite what people think. You know, the tide is changing, and as far as coming out of the high school unscathed, I give a lot to my parents. They raised me right, and I'll say that people say that's arrogant. You know, well, why is it? It's not arrogant. That's the truth. You know, they raised. I'm not perfect, but I came out. I fought for what I believed in. You know, it's a matter of taking a stand for what you believe. I'm sure you know this right now. The premise is if you disagree with me, you hate me. Mm-hmm. That's democratic philosophy. If you're against somebody, you must hate them.
Sure seems like it.
I don't agree with that.
I don't hate Barack Obama, but I am definitely not enamored of his policies.
I haven't. Yep. I've said I would have a beer with Ray Buckley and watch a Red Sox game or something. You know, if we didn't want to talk about politics, people are people. There's lots of things you can talk about. The fact that the Democrats make everything political is the problem. I mean, the reason we have things to talk about is because things that were never supposed to be part of the political sphere have been sucked up by the Marxist philosophies of cultural revolution.
Yep, pretty much.
And that's that's a good message. You've talked to kids. Why does the government have to run that part of your life? Why can't you just do it yourself?
Yeah, exactly. And that goes to personal responsibility, which a local business owner had talked to me about because he asked me the same question. Why do you want to run? You know, he said, this thing, it makes me sick. He said, I may run for representative. I said, well, do it up, man. Let's do it. You know, but he was talking about the same thing. He said personal responsibility has gone out the window. You know, and I think that's part of the moral decay we've experienced in the nation for the last 70 years. You know, we've had school education dropping through. We don't teach what we used to teach anymore. You know, and it's destructive.
Yeah, I showed my kids those exams they have online that like when the 50s or whatever, you had to know who all the cabinet members were and what their jobs were and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Nobody has a clue who the vice president is. I mean, the only reason they know who he might be is because he's such a goofball.
Yeah, I know he makes all these gaffes and everything. He's going to put you all back in chains.
He's a clown. That's it. That's his claim to fame. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to have, hopefully, and whether you win or not, it's good that you will continue to be active.
Oh,
and,
I will.
And to have, and then you have media. You've engaged in media. You are grasping that thing, which we as conservatives need to have a voice in. We need to get media out there. That's why we do the show, because media is what, upstream from culture, downstream from culture? I forget the quote. We talked about it last week from Breitbart. But you must control, or at least not control. Control's the wrong word. I don't want to control media. I want there to be a voice, a balanced voice in media, and there isn't.
Right.
And so we're all doing our part.
We're our part. We're part of the new press. We're part of the balance. and we're very glad to have you involved. So where do you go for your conservative news and information, Josh?
Well, I go to drudgereport.com. I go to Facebook. No, I'm just kidding.
Facebook.
Yeah,
Facebook.
Right? No, I watch.
Cat pictures.
Have Fox News on.
Pictures of 50-year-old men showing you their workout bodies. Oh,
yeah,
God,
right.
Yeah.
So I go to a number of news sources. Like Fox News. I don't read much magazine.
Print media now.
You want to know where I get a lot of my conservative news?
What's that?
I wouldn't even call it news. My viewpoints. The Founding Fathers' writings.
Yeah.
I read a lot on that stuff. That's what I've been
place
doing the
to
last
get it.
2 years. That's what they studied, like John Locke and William Blackstone. These guys. I mean, it's some of it's hard read, but this is what they used to begin the education in America. This is how they established the current constitutional republic that we have. And I love it.
They were well read. They
Oh,
understood. They understood politics, history, economics, and human nature. And
yes, they did.
And human nature is the real thing. They wrote the Constitution to constrain the excesses of human nature as related to government, what people do when they get into power. Yep. And it's a pretty good document. The only reason I say it's pretty good is because somehow, probably due to a lack of the eternal vigilance, we the people have allowed the government to escape from its chains, and it's going to be a Herculean task to put it back in those chains.
Yep, but we can do it.
We're happy to have you here to help.
And we're glad you've joined the fight.
So how do people reach you, since we have about a minute left?
They can reach me at, my number is 603-361-0955. My email address is joshmoore@reagan.com, and you can visit my website at josh-moore.com. There we go.
That's Moore.
Correct, Moore. Yep.
All right. So we are glad you came in. Great to have an opportunity to talk to you. We'll have to check out your cable access show and see if we can link to that, because we need more media.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Josh, thank you so much for coming in and spending a few minutes with GrokTALK. I'm Steve McDonald here with Skip. Skip Murphy's at his house watching us. I have to include him because he's really part of the show if he's going to call us again. And, and of course, Mike Rogers, who has taken over for Skip, manning the live stream. Hi. See? He's manning the live stream. Look at that.
Yep, absolutely. And we've now got Steve on picture.
Up the live stream. I'm watching the camera move around. Hey,
just put a little white space over your head in honor of Skip.
Just be a dog and turn my head sideways. All right, we'll be right back with Eileen Landies, and more GrokTALK will be back soon.
New Hampshire is famous for scenic drives, but they're tough to enjoy when you're on your way to the doctor. Because Obamacare limits your choices, some will have to drive more than an hour to see a doctor. What's health insurance worth if care isn't there when you need it? Jean Shaheen voted for Obamacare, putting your doctors and hospitals further out of reach. Tell Senator Shaheen Obamacare is not working for New Hampshire.
She tried to make us believe she was a fiscal conservative, but State Senator Nancy Stiles has been deceiving New Hampshire taxpayers. Like a wolf in sheep's clothing, she claimed to be one of us, pretending to blend in, but all along voting like a liberal Democrat. She voted to raise your gas tax by another 23%, taking a bigger bite out of our wallets every time we're at the pump. And oh, how she drooled at the opportunity to vote to expand Obamacare, which will result in higher taxes and longer wait times in the emergency room. And now the Senate wants to pass a bill to prevent us from criticizing Senator Stiles' vote. Call Senator Stiles at 603-918-0553 and tell her that we're on to her wolf in sheep's clothing routine. Tell her to stop pretending to be a fiscal conservative and start voting like one. Paid for by Citizens for a Strong New Hampshire.
This is a coalition of New Hampshire taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is a repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now at the top of our list is voter fraud. You have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.